Hi everyone, this is a mini tutorial to help you understand the different levels of phonological awareness. I love this cartoon. This is what it's like to teach foundation. I vividly remember trying to get my new reception students to compile a list of s words. I sat there making the sound soap, stop. Children started putting up their hands as they realised what I was doing, and then all of a sudden, computer? Sometimes it takes a long time for children to be able to hear the sounds in words. Being able to hear sounds is what phonological awareness is based on. It's an extremely important part of learning to read and write, and so by extension, it's vital that you understand the different skills so that you can teach them. I want this tutorial to be really explicit, so I'm including lots of examples. Let's start by breaking down some vocabulary. A phoneme is the smallest sound unit in a word. It's essentially a sound. Phonemes blend together to make syllables and words. A grapheme is a letter or combination of letters that represents a sound in a word. Essentially, it's the written form of a sound. Vowels are the letters A, E, I, O, and U, and other combinations that make a vowel sound, like O and A making the O sound, or two E's making the E sound, or AY making the A sound. Consonants are all the other letters of the alphabet. Digraphs are two letters that go together to make one sound or phoneme. For example, S and H making the sh sound, or E and A making the E sound. Trigraphs are three letters that go together to make one sound or phoneme. For example, IGH making the I sound. Word families are groups of words that have a feature in common. For example, cat, hat, mat, sat, they all have at in them. Okay, there are three words that you'll come across that people often use interchangeably, but they're actually different. Those terms are phonological awareness, phonemic awareness, and phonics. Let's start with phonics. Phonics is a visual skill. It's about being able to link the sound that you can hear with the letter. That is, matching the sound S to the letter S. Synthetic phonics is a systematic teaching of phonics, starting with individual letters and moving progressively towards words. Phonological awareness is an auditory skill. It's about hearing sounds. Children with phonological awareness can hear, discriminate between, manipulate, and remember the sounds of speech. This can happen at sentence, word, or syllable level. Finally, when a child can hear the smallest sounds of speech, that is the individual phonemes, they're said to have phonemic awareness. That is, they are aware of the phonemes or the sounds in words. Okay, some important points about phonological awareness. This area of literacy needs to be explicitly and systematically taught. Without this explicit teaching, children will struggle to decode words effectively. It's most beneficial to teach phonological awareness in small groups so that you can target particular skills with particular children. I find the easiest way to do this is to assess their prior knowledge first, and then I build my phonological awareness skill development into the beginning of a guided reading group. It only takes a few minutes each time, and then I can get through all the groups easily as they're reading with me anyway. So why is it so important? It's prerequisite knowledge for the application of letter sound knowledge needed for reading, writing, and spelling. If children can't hear sounds, then reading, writing, and spelling are difficult. On page 209 of Fellows in Oakley, you'll find a developmental sequence of phonological awareness. There are 4 different levels of phonological awareness: word level, syllable, onset rhyme, and phoneme awareness. Some of these levels need to develop before reading can really take off, and ideally the 4 levels should be mastered by the end of the first year of school. Let's have a look at word level first. At word level, children learn that speech is composed of a series of separate words, not a stream of continuous sound. They need this broad understanding about words before progressing to more difficult levels. To do this, they need practice breaking sentences into individual words. You'd be really surprised how many children are not able to do this. You say a sentence such as, "The boy went to the shops." The children repeat, counting those words on their fingers. The boy went to the shops. And then they tell you how many words there are. In this case, it's 6. Children often join the word the and a to the following word and count that as one word, such as the boy. This shows that they don't yet have word awareness. Children also need to have the concept that there are big words and small words by size or length. They learn later that big words can be broken down into syllables. You've given 2 words, such as tricycle and car. Tricycle is bigger to look at because it has more letters and more syllables. Children without word level awareness will tend to choose the car as the bigger word because the object, a car, is bigger than a tricycle. Okay, rhyme, or words that sound the same, is another component of word level awareness and is something that can be taught as young as 3 years of age. Lots of picture books have rhyming couplets, and that creates the rhythm in books. Children with different home languages need very explicit instruction in this area. Identifying rhyme is another skill at word level. Giving children 3 words, such as pig, fig, and fog, and getting them to identify the 2 that rhyme is one activity. It's important to have the 2 rhyming words in different places when you do this, as it's much easier to hear the rhyme when the 2 rhyming words are next to each other than when they're separated by another word. An alternative is to give the children 3 words and ask them to identify the one that doesn't rhyme. Then there's generation of rhyme, and you can't assume that just because a child can identify rhyme that they'll be able to generate rhyming words. They're actually 2 completely distinct skills. Generation of rhyme can be especially difficult for children who don't have a large vocabulary or have English as an additional language. When generating rhyming words, nonsense words are allowed. So if you're rhyming words with cat, then dat is acceptable because it actually does rhyme with cat. So you might say to children, "Tell me a word that rhymes with sheep." You repeat a word that a child adds so that they can continue to hear the rhyme that they're trying to match. So if you've said sheep and they say beep, you say beep, and then the next child will add on. Isolating the rhyme in rhyming words, which is also part of the onset rhyme level, is the most demanding skill in rhyming. That is identifying the part of the word that is the same. So for instance, in the words shop and stop, it's the op part that makes them rhyme. This skill is a precursor to word families and the beginning of the reading and writing process. You can find more examples at word level on pages 211 to 214 of Fellows and Oakley. Okay. At syllable level, children learn to detect, count, and segment into syllables. They also learn to manipulate them, that is, delete, add, and substitute to make different words. The difficulty with syllables is not in counting them, but in deciding where the syllable boundaries are. Each syllable must have a vowel, hence words with one vowel just have one syllable. So for instance, fish just has the I in it, so it's only one syllable. In parrot, it's got the a and the o, parrot, so they actually have 2 syllables. And same with something like Benjamin has 3 syllables. You can see on the slide that each syllable has a vowel sound. Clapping and tapping activities help children learn syllable awareness. They can start learning to segment their name in preschool. By 5 years of age, they should be able to identify, count, and delete a syllable, which is usually the first syllable. So an example of deleting a syllable would be, say toothbrush. Now say toothbrush without the tooth, which would leave them with the word brush. The next level is onset rhyme. You will see that we're gradually working our way from realising speech is made up of words to children knowing that words are made up of sounds. The onset is the beginning of a single syllable word and is one consonant or a group of letters. The rhyme is the part of the word that comes after the onset and always begins with a vowel. For example, the word pink is one syllable, p is the onset, and ink is the rhyme. In the word string, str is the onset in the form of a group of letters, and ing is the rhyme. Children need to be able to detect and manipulate the onset and the rhyme of words. There's an overlap here with rhyming and phonics as they learn, as they involve letters and sounds. The idea is that if a child can read the word dog, then they can read the word log because it's just an onset substitution. The final level of phonological awareness is the most sophisticated part of phonological awareness, needing really explicit instruction. This is the precursor to letter sound knowledge and sounding out. If you can't sound out words, you can't sound out words if you can't accurately hear sounds. While there are 26 letters in the alphabet, there are 44 phonemes or sounds. This is because it's possible to make some of those sounds using different letter combinations. For example, the words cat, kitten, duck, school, and queen all contain a k sound, but a different grapheme or letter option is used to record them in writing. I love this cartoon, so I just had to include it. At this level, children need to be able to segment a word into individual sounds, blend sounds together, and manipulate sounds. For example, changing letters. So how do you turn cat into hat? You take away the k and you put in a h, and then that makes hat. There's lots of information about this on pages 219 to 224 of the e-text. Okay, now I want to spend a bit of time explaining how to segment sounds because it's not as simple as it seems. Words are made up of letters which are called phonemes. Phonemes are the smallest sound units, and the trick is that some phonemes are represented by one letter. For example, the letter D makes a D sound, or the letter T makes a T sound. But some phonemes are represented by more than one letter, such as C and H going together to make the Ch sound. These are called digraphs. Just to complicate matters, the English language throws in trigraphs, that is 3 letters making one sound, like the IGH making the I sound. And then some letters make more than one sound. For example, the letter A can make an at sound, and it can make an A sound, like in baby, or even an R sound, like in father. Let's try some examples. It helps if you use your hand and put up a finger for each phoneme that you can hear. So my name is Karen, spelt C-A-R-Y-N. If you sound out my name, each letter in my name actually makes one sound. I have 5 phonemes. K, A, R, I, N. The C is making a K sound, the A is making an AT sound, the R is making a R sound, the Y is making a I sound in my name, and the N is making an N sound. Let's try the name Charlie. Charlie has 7 letters in it, but when you sound it out, Ch-A-L-E, there are actually only, excuse me, 4 phonemes. The CH making the ch sound, the AR making the R sound, the L making the L sound, and the IE making the E sound. One more. Christopher. 11 letters in this name, but when you sound it out, K-R-I-S-T-F-R, only 8 phonemes. Unlike in Charlie, where the CH was making a ch sound, in Christopher, the CH is making a k sound. You can see how complex this actually is. There are many skills involved in phonological awareness. You can see why they require quite explicit teaching. Unfortunately, it's not a natural thing to do, and yet it's vital for the success of reading and writing. I hope that you found this useful. Please let me know if you have any questions at all. Thanks, everyone.